best friends. Same lifestyle, same aesthetic, same online world. One night in London, and one of them never came home the same way again. Here's the part that will stay with you. It did not come out of nowhere. There were signs, there were words. There was even a warning posted online for the whole world to see, hours before it happened. This is the story of Claudia Zakfka and Gabrielle Carrington. And by the time we get to the end of it, you are going to have a lot of feelings. Now, before we continue, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Soho, Central London, one of the busiest nightlife areas in the city. Clubs, bars, music pouring into the street, crowds moving in every direction, the kind of place where people go to have a good time, to be seen, to celebrate. Now picture two women who fit right in. Claudia Zakfka, known online as Claudia Glam, was a BBL beauty influencer based in England. A polished, curated page. A following built around her lifestyle and her look.
Locking, bitch, no distractions. Locking, bitch, no reactions. Eyes forward, tunnel vision. You don't need that.
Then there is Gabrielle Carrington, known online as Riella. Same energy, same lane. Beauty, travel, nightlife. Both women living lives that look exciting from the outside. They were not strangers. They were friends. Old-time friends. Which makes everything that happened later hit that much harder. Somewhere along the line, something shifted. The friendship cracked. There had been ongoing tension, unfollow drama, messages being sent, back and forth that had been sitting just below the surface for a while. Sometimes, it is the people you were closest to who know exactly how to get under your skin. The narrative that spread online was that the two women had been fighting over a married man, one who had just had a baby. But a friend of Claudia's came forward and pushed back on that, hard. Insert clip, Claudia's friend testimony. So the fighting over a man angle, according to someone actually close to Claudia, was not the root of it. What the friend described was something older, something more personal. A pattern of behavior that had been festering for a long time. Now here is where things take a turn that is hard to sit with. Before that night, Riella had posted about mental health.
So when I talk about the situation, I'm not talking about hearsay. I'm not talking about through the grapevine. Claudia is my friend at the end of the day. When I'm saying about certain things, I'm being vague only because I don't need to go into so much detail. I only need to say the surface of what has happened. I don't need to go into her whole lifestyle. I don't need to go into certain things out of respect for her friends and her family. You know what I mean? So when I'm saying this is not about man, it's not about man. I'm explaining the fact that this all stemmed from a very long time ago. This is not something that happened a week ago or recently. This all stemmed from Claudia unfollowing Rielle and Claudia not liking Rielle and Rielle messaging her, coming on her
in a way that, looking back, feels heavy. Insert clip, Rielle's mental health video. She was talking about how people look fine on the outside, but are fighting something privately on the inside. The rawness of what she said was real. But what she posted on her Snapchat story on the day everything...
It's so difficult for them to differentiate who's like actually mentally ill and who just takes the piss, because mental health is one of them things where you could look absolutely fine and be fighting for your life in your head. Like, you could literally be fighting for your life, and you could have so much other things going on and you could look fine, like, i.e. me. The amount of things I have going on at the moment, not to delve too much into personal stuff, because I do post everything on here, but I don't post a lot of things, believe me. Like, I just think that's crazy. So just be nice to people when you see them on the roadside or passing by or in work or in the gym or just wherever you're going. Just be thoughtful for what people are actually going through, in their heads, because it's not easy to be inside your brain sometimes. Sometimes you are your worst critic, and like your just worst enemy sometimes. I said about sometimes about 92 million times. Sometimes just shut the fuck up, Gabby.
Fell apart? That was something else entirely. Hours before she got into that car, hours before she drove it into a human being, Riella posted this. People shouldn't trouble mad people, because when I hurt you for provoking me, I won't be going to jail. I will be at the hospital around the way from where I will put you. She posted that, publicly, hours before it happened. Now before we continue, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. April 19th, 2026. Both women ended up in Soho that same night. And at some point, outside a nightclub, everything that had been sitting between them for months finally broke open in public. Phones came out, the crowd formed, people started recording. Insert clip, altercation footage. Then Riella walked away from the confrontation and got into her car. That should have been it. That should have been the moment where the night just ended badly, but everybody walked away. People have arguments. People go home angry. That is how it is supposed to go. But she did not go home. She sat in that car and then she drove it forward, straight into the crowd, straight into Claudia. Insert clip, impact footage, crowd reaction. Claudia was hit. She was dragged. She was pinned underneath that vehicle, and reports say the car reversed during the incident. This was not a foot slipping. The car moved forward and then it moved back. 2 other people were also caught in it. One suffered serious injuries. Screaming replaced everything. People rushed toward Claudia. Emergency services arrived. She was taken to hospital in a life-threatening condition, fighting for her life, and they could not save her. Claudia Zakvka did not survive. Let that land for a second. A woman is dead over something that started with unfollowing someone on social media. Girl, I need you to really sit with that, because that is not just a tragic ending. That is a complete and total waste of a life. Gabrielle Carrington was arrested at the scene, right there. When she was taken in, she was over the legal alcohol limit. So on top of everything else, she had been drinking. The investigation moved fast because the evidence was overwhelming. Multiple people had been recording. The car, the impact, the reversal, caught from multiple angles by multiple phones. And then there was that Snapchat post. Her own words, her own page, hours before she ever set foot in Soho. Investigators had a timeline, a public statement of intent, footage of the act, and a woman arrested at the scene over the limit. The charges that came back were not small. Attempted murder, grievous bodily harm, dangerous driving. And given that Claudia did not survive, the weight of those charges only grew heavier. As the story spread online, the fighting over a married man narrative traveled fast. But Claudia's friend stepped forward and reframed everything. Insert clip, Claudia's friend full testimony. According to someone actually in Claudia's life, this was never about a man. It was about envy. It was about a pattern of behavior from Riella that had touched multiple people. It started with an unfollow that spiraled into messages, confrontations, and long-standing bad energy. The friend said she even knows who started the man rumor, and she was not impressed. Here is what stays with you after a story like this. Claudia Zafka was a real person, not a headline, not a cautionary tale. She had friends who loved her enough to go on camera and defend her name. She had people who are now carrying a loss they did not see coming. And Gabrielle Carrington, whatever pain she was carrying, made a choice that night that cannot be walked back. Not ever. She got into that car, she pressed that gas, and a woman died. This case forces you to think about how quickly things go from bad to irreversible. This was not a stranger. This was someone she had history with, someone she had laughed with probably, and it ended on a nightclub pavement with a woman who never made it home. Girl, social media makes us forget that the people we follow, the people we beef with, the people we unfollow and screenshot, they are real. Their feelings are real, and when real feelings collide with real people in a real place with no screen between them, the consequences can be permanent in a way no comment section ever prepared anyone for. To Claudia's family, to her friends, to everyone still trying to make sense of this channel sees you. Claudia Zafka deserved to go home that night. Period. If you are in a situation where tension is building with someone online or offline, walk away, block them, call somebody, remove yourself. Because no argument, no unfollow, no amount of bad energy is worth what this cost. This has been Drifting Truth Channel. Subscribe and share, because the more people talk about what happened to Claudia, the harder it becomes to look away. Stay safe, and we will see you in the next one.